Good afternoon. This is Lindy Kurtz with the red team at RE/MAX Results. Today we are here with Jared Stewart of Disaster Restoration Pros. Jared is also known as the mold guy and is going to give us some information today on common myths that we don't think about when we think about mold. So tell us a little bit more, Jared.
Sure. There's a couple of main ones out there that we tend to talk about, and the main one right off the bat is that most people think the best way to treat mold is to use bleach, and for no fault of their own, the EPA for the past 30 years has said put bleach on everything. It's fantastic. About 5 years ago, they finally changed their mind and started listening to folks like us and say, yeah, it's not the best thing to do. So they now actually changed their website and explain very clearly that bleach is one of the worst things that you can actually put on mold growth. So what happens, bleach is actually mostly water. So once you put the bleach on there, you think you're doing okay because the color disappears, but then at the end of the day, you're giving the mold spore a water source. So it can actually promote mold growth versus take care of it. Now, there are a little bit of differences. For example, the darker discoloration that's on brick on the outside of a home or in your shower area, that is actually not mold. It's a cousin to the mold in the slime family. So bleach is fantastic for that. So bleach on a concrete foundation wall that has some discoloration or in your shower or brick is perfectly fine. But bleach on actual mold growth is one of the worst things that you could do. It'll hurt you in the long run.
That's fantastic information. So what's another myth about mold that many people have?
The other main one that we hear out there is that when someone sees some dark discoloration, whether it's on drywall or concrete or any material, if it's the color black, people automatically assume, oh my gosh, it's the big scary black mold. Black mold is actually very rare. Out of the couple thousand tests that we do every year, we see it less than 1% of the time. So the color black very much does not equal black mold. As an inspector, we actually prefer to see the color black. And what that means is that something has happened and has caused the mold to grow. However, now it's in a dormant state. So mold is like a human. When you eliminate the food or the water source, the mold goes dormant and typically loses its color at that point. So to have black discoloration is actually a good thing. When mold has color to it as green, orange, yellow, that means it's actively growing. So it has enough food source and it has enough moisture source. Now, a lot of people think that you need, in order for mold to grow, you need a water leak of some sort, but we actually see it most commonly in an unfinished basement area where there's just excess humidity. And of course, living in the Midwest, we know there's plenty of that about 8 months out of the year.
Indeed, we do have a lot of humidity. So is it fair to say that if we don't see mold, that it's not there?
No, absolutely not. And that's one of our next myths actually is that think about in the springtime when the allergies start to kick up and people are sneezing and coughing like crazy, you don't actually see what they're breathing in. An allergen typically is not visible to the naked eye. So to kind of give you a point of reference, if you covered a postage stamp with mold spores, it'd be in the neighborhood of 20 million. So when we watch the weather in the summertime and the weather person says the mold count outside is 12,000, we deal with mold on a daily basis. So you can't always see the allergen that you're breathing in that's causing an issue. So testing is really the only way to definitively know if there's a mold issue or not.
Fantastic. These definitely challenge what we think about mold. What is the fourth myth when it comes to mold?
So the last myth I'd like to discuss is actually that dead mold does not pose a risk. A lot of people think or hear about many products that can quote unquote kill a mold spore. Unfortunately, in today's world, there is no such thing. There are many products that can place mold into a dormant state and put it into a hibernation. However, the mold spore itself will be dormant for up to 1,000 years. It will just sit there and wait for more moisture. So it's not enough just to quote unquote kill the mold spore. The EPA recommends that removal of that spore from whatever material is the proper method for treatment.
So you've given us a lot of information to think about when it comes to mold. You definitely are the mold guy. So let everybody know where they can reach you or what website they can find you at if they have additional questions.
Sure. We have a lot of information, including the EPA regulations and where they guide us in the right direction. Very simple. Go to myhomedamage.com and just follow the links through there.
Fantastic. I really appreciate your time today, Jared. This is Lindy Kurtz with the red team at RE/MAX Results Realty, and you can find us at realestatedone.com.